Bam! I am President Chad, and you are inside the EPL Rewind, where we talk everything concerning the EPL. That is what we talk about. I got a Geordie with me and a Gunner with me today. We got the man Waz for people who are accustomed watching the United Hour. Waz is no stranger to us. He's been following Newcastle and a Newcastle supporter for many about over 2 decades. Was
about that, yeah.
Yeah, so no stranger. And then we have the man Tristan, who is also no stranger to the channel, a big gunner. How are you gentlemen doing this Sunday, boy? How we make out without the Premier League, boy? How they make out? What they do?
Honest,
No football to watch.
I watch sports that I never thought I could have stand, like, literally. I watch horse racing, golf. I was watching tennis. There's a lot. I watch all the Spanish and Italian football. I get them all at Bly this weekend.
Yeah. A little La Liga.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you watch, or you had to work.
Well, I try to take in a piece of what Flo had, or what they tried to present there. Taking a little bit of the Italian and the Spanish leagues as well there, and see what streaming I could have gotten and just go through with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they'll start back soon.
Well, let's talk about that. So, all the official news is going to be released tomorrow. Please go ahead. But what I'm hearing coming out of the UK is that the aim of the Premier League is to play most of the games next weekend. Now, the Queen's funeral is on Monday. Now, some people may say, well, that's Monday. Monday not going to clash with Sunday. Yes, but remember, they're expecting the turnout of hundreds of thousands of people. So they are serious. They're looking to pull security and police from other parts of the country to London, right? So there is a bit of concern about the London fixtures, but more likely than not, we are definitely going to have some kind of Premier League football next week. Hopefully we'll be lucky and we'll get all 10 games played, right? So that is the situation. We understand why the Premier League would have suspended games, because they wanted to pay respect on the passing of the Queen, and that is understandable. The longest reigning monarch, not just of England, but I think in the world.
In the world, yeah.
So we understand that, but more likely the aim of the Premier League is to try to get games played. Concerning the games that have been missed, don't expect these games to be rescheduled until after the World Cup. The season is already, the fixture list is already congested. So more likely than not, you will not be seeing these games until
after the World Cup.
After the World Cup. So you're looking at December going onwards. I personally think they will try to stick some in December, because January is pressure. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So that's where we at in terms of the Premier League and fixtures. But we had some very interesting news this week with Chelsea busting Tuchel's throat and bringing in the magic man Potter, because they really need somebody to work some magic for them in London there. So what you guys thought about that move? I want to hear your thoughts as somebody who has an up-and-coming manager, a man who's doing well since he came in at Newcastle, doing very well in the Premier League. The end of last season was unbelievable. Yeah. To take that club from bottom of the league to finish in mid-table, he beat some teams. He get points from places nobody thought Newcastle was going to get points. I mean, at some point in time, one of the big boys might come knocking, because the truth be told, Liverpool performing a lot worse than Chelsea.
You're not far behind. The 7 years.
Right, Liverpool performing a lot worse than Chelsea. So who knows? Liverpool might be looking for a coach just now. What do you think about that whole situation with Potter to Chelsea?
There's a shocking move. I was making a joke with some Chelsea fans the other day. I said, well, I hope you guys get Steve Bruce. But in all fairness, I think it was harsh on Tuchel. I know there's issues with the owners and management and with him. but that guy's done a lot with Chelsea within recent years. Three trophies. It was a hard decision within the first six, 6 games. So it was really a shock there. And Potter is doing good. He has some good success with his team there. I think, just like when Eddie Howe came into Newcastle, there was a bit of, doubt. English manager, British manager coming in, and how good he would be, because you're accustomed with the big teams having international coaches of stellar standards, right? And so I would be honest, when Eddie Howe came into Newcastle, I had doubts. I actually told you guys I was hoping Rafa Benitez would have come back, right? And I wasn't expecting Eddie Howe to stay that long. But Eddie Howe has actually gelled with the team, and he's become very popular. And he's improving as a manager as well, but he's also taking the team up. So it is what Chelsea fans want. They want to see that team gel again and start to gain confidence, or they want instant success. I don't know if Potter will give them instant success. I think he's going to have to find his players, his team, and start working with them. Do they want that? To have that patience to go through that, or they just want quick blood and we go for a trophy one time? So, but that one with Tuchel was a real surprise. That goes, but that's a game. I can't see Liverpool doing that to Klopp though. Not as yet.
Let's see that.
I still think they'll give Klopp a run through the season.
Actually, I wanna spend a little time talking about Liverpool in a little bit. Just on a lot of times, the concept is that if you have a manager who is getting a tune out of decentish players, if you give him top-notch players, he's supposed to be able to have an orchestra. He's supposed to be getting a tune out. He's supposed to get real fine music. Now, me being a Manchester United man, I know that will always work, right? David Moyes at Everton consistently there and thereabouts. You understand? Everton was a solid top 6 team with David Moyes there.
Okay.
And came to Manchester United, and clearly it was too much for him, right? He wasn't able to get a tune out of the stars at Manchester United. So I know it don't always work that way. But that is the idea, right? You take this guy who is able, because before he left Brighton was running. Right now, Brighton looking
good.
One of the teams under Potter you did not want to face. It didn't really matter whether they are top 6. It don't matter. You didn't want to play Brighton.
They'll make it with that.
Newcastle are
Wolves.
2 teams. Wolves always good defensively, but the problem is they don't score goals. Now that they have a big striker, who knows?
Costa.
Right? And with Costa going to Wolves, that is other big news in the Premier League this week. Right, they got him on a free transfer. I know people might be wondering, but wait, transfer window done. How Wolves getting players? Free transfers and loans are still, those deals are still able to happen.
Emergency. Only emergency loans.
Right. So, what do you think? Do you think Potter is going to be what people always think? He's going to get a tune, get an orchestra out at Chelsea, or do you think he's going to be what has happened many times when people hire these lesser coaches that seem to be overperforming?
Well, my honest opinion, being an Arsenal fan, I think they take the route that Arsenal take in terms of they'll bring in a coach that well known and whatnot, bring in a coach that decent and have the capability, bringing a little togetherness back in the dressing room, back to the fans, back to everybody. Because when you look at it, there's not much Tuchel could have done in terms of there's your whole starting back 4 was ripped away from you. You lost 2 players and a free, one to Real Madrid, one to Barca. Barca done gang rape here already during the transfer season. Every player you go after, they come and take it. And you have real money to spend. You have a sugar daddy. Barca had no money, but they get all the players. So they mobilize, right?
For real,
so after they mobilize and stuff, you bring in players who Tuchel, he wanted certain players and he didn't get them and he didn't really get them now. The only player he really probably fight for was Aubameyang, and I could see why. Is either you get Aubameyang or you get Morata, and you choose one. And he trusts the latter. It didn't work out for him. The people and them spend over 300 million. They say, all right, cool, we'll take our loss. We'll bring in Tuchel, we'll cut Axe Tuchel, we'll bring in the new coach from Brighton. You have 40, I think it's 42 wins, 43 losses, 43 draws and 47 losses. They gave him a 5-year contract. You don't give somebody a 5-year contract, that's so. Right?
True.
So which means they bring him there to say, here, what we know. You in charge, we'll get a few windows, you'll continue being a sugar daddy and spend all the money on whatever players you want. Funny thing is, the players who just signed for Brighton, especially from Chelsea, and Lone Cowell and whatnot, I'm excited to see if they're going to take them back in January. Right? Because when you look at his midfield, majority of Chelsea side is aging. In midfield, injuries, the defense, aging. Right? Even the forward line. So he had to do a whole 360. And 360 meaning it's like 5 years. Within 5 years, hopefully they should be challenging. The fans
Within
are
5 years, you hope. Philip, I mean, I was really hoping that Dr. Zeus would have been on the program today.
I was
Because
going to say.
as a Chelsea supporter, I want to know what is his expectations. Does he expect Potter to come in and get a tune one time? You know, what are Chelsea supporters? If there's any Chelsea supporters watching right now, please put in the comments. What are your expectations? What are you expecting from Potter? I calling him the Magic Man. You understand? Because I think at Chelsea, it's not just about your coaching acumen. You need to be able to navigate the politics. Chelsea clubs seem to have a lot of backroom politics, and if you don't deal with that, because I personally think it's the politics that mash up Tuchel. That's just my opinion. The owner of the club wanted that marketing icon in Ronaldo.
Yes.
And he had his own ideas. The coach said, no, I don't want Ronaldo. Publicly make sure that it was known out there that he didn't want Ronaldo. Tying the owner's hands. Because we all know these conversations take place behind the scenes. The owner might say, watch, I'm buying this player. The coach might say, nah, I don't want you. The owner say, watch me, I'm buying this player. But when you, as the coach, come out as the manager and make it public that you don't want Ronaldo,
a bad blood.
How the man could bring Ronaldo now, right? So he canceled the owner's plans. The owner spent over $200 and something million, and he's still losing games. You're trying to get boss, right?
Yeah.
That is just how it is.
But it was an expensive bus road though. Because to hire the backroom staff in Brighton, I think that was just £20 million. Right? Then he agreed a 5-year contract and he's one of the top 3 highly paid managers from being the top 18 in the Premier League.
You understand? From 18 to 3, that is a real pay raise, yes?
You understand?
Probably looking for some houses in London right about now. And wifey.
Of course. I wish him all the best. Not against Arsenal though.
So let me ask you all. None of us here support Chelsea. So we answering this question purely as onlookers, right?
Right.
Where you all think Chelsea will end up? No. Is Chelsea in your simple question? Is Chelsea in your top 4? And you come the end of the season?
No.
Was?
Top 6.
I always felt Chelsea was one of the teams. I always felt Chelsea was one of the teams that was going to fall out at the top 4, even with Tuchel there. I always felt that before this happened, and I still feel that way.
Liverpool tour. Since before, when I saw them for pre-season, and I see all them walk over them, like literally walk over them, I say, boy, they don't realize how important man is. They're disrespectful. And for being disrespectful, you're going to pay the price.
So let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool look horrible. I have some ideas as to why that might be, but let me throw it to you guys first. What do you think is wrong with Liverpool Football Club right now?
I was
Because
just saying,
clearly something is wrong. Eh? Clearly something is wrong. This is not the Liverpool
yeah,
that we know.
there seems to be some politics playing within the team concerning money. And as was just said there, the importance of money as a leader, as a carrier of the team, right? Someone who could pick that team up when they're down and lift them isn't there. You're not seeing it from Mo Salah, Firmino. Yeah, they had a good win there with that 9-0 there. That showed the potential they have.
Against smaller
Even
position.
yeah, even with Newcastle, right? I mean to say we were really, really gutted with that game, but in the past, you come out, you draw 1-1 with Liverpool, or even lose 2-1 with Newcastle, you would have felt good. But that team was on a team, and even the way they played, right? I'm not picking up from a team or anything there, but Liverpool, they were scrapping at it, right? And it went over. I mean to say you had to go to 8 minutes after supposed to be 5 minutes added on time. Excuse Newcastle of time wasting, right? Okay, fine. You've got the extra time. But to be playing at Anfield like that as a home team, they think that Newcastle team is improving. And I said it before, it will take about 6 to 8 games, and they're going to lose a few for them to actually start gelling. So they haven't really started to sort themselves. That Newcastle team was on the potential of Newcastle this season, right? And how Liverpool played them, it wasn't going. I think Isak kind of scared them to the hitting the net twice. So it goes. Klopp, he talks really charismatic and with a lot of flair and stuff and thing. But when he's on the losing end, you see a difference. Always an excuse.
Yeah, well,
and even when
Newcastle
Newcastle,
have a speech writer, for when Liverpool lost.
Of course.
So, I was shocked at some of the things that came out after that game there. We felt gutted with VAR and even with the referee with the time there, right? We actually felt like that game was played just to make sure they get a chance to score. All right. But that wasn't any competition, and any football follower who actually watched that game in Newcastle and Liverpool would have been shocked at how Liverpool play. Maybe a little credit to Newcastle picking up the game, being a little more competitive, but Liverpool wasn't Liverpool there.
And then the game in the Champions League as well, they didn't look good at all. They were dominated in that game. They were lucky to only consider. I think the final score was what, 3-1? 4-1, and they were lucky they only get 4.
All right.
Napoli take up the
more. So Tristan, I want to throw this out there. I personally believe that one of the reasons Liverpool are finding it slow to fix their issues is that the English media is just biased towards them. Right? They don't call out the fact that Van Dijk is not the Van Dijk pre his injury. The injury that had him out for almost a whole season. He is slower. He is not the same player. You don't ever hear them say a bad word about Van Dijk. As far as I'm concerned, Van Dijk still fall from heaven and he's the best defender in the world. The English media are talking about, specifically. You don't ever hear them say a bad word about Klopp. Last season, Liverpool was supposed to be the greatest English team ever, right? They're going and get the 4. They're going and quadruple, right? They reach 2 finals. The 2 finals, they win. They didn't even score a goal. I don't know how you could be the greatest team ever and you reach 3 finals. The 2 they win, they didn't score. They win on penalties. The other final, they get blocked. If you get 3 goals in a Champions League final, they get licks. That is a block, right? You got abused. Clearly, something is wrong with this Liverpool team. But the English media don't call out Klopp. They don't call. Salah hasn't been the same since AFCON. I don't know what Sadio Mane and them fellas do Egypt, but after AFCON, well, you're saying since he signed the contract, but the truth is he hasn't been. Even before he signed the contract, he wasn't looking good. Since AFCON, Salah has not been looking good. As a man who does play plenty fantasy football, he just not looking good. So I don't know. Talk to me. What do you think?
I will say with Liverpool, as a German friend remind me, it's the 7 year that's a day. Klopp have a 7-year spell. When he was in Bundesliga, 7 year the club get relegated. He tried to bring them up the curtain, he jumped across the Dortmund. 7 year spell, 2 Champions League final, fail all. One like the FA Cup in Germany. Right? 7 year spell, he gets sacked. Come to Liverpool. 7 year spell. Bring players that he comfortable with. Money save them and whatnot. You have the politics also, whereas you have the players who play for their heart and soul. And you're paying players who just have a name. Like, for example, how dare you have Oxlade-Chamberlain? He was my boy. How dare you have Oxlade-Chamberlain making more money than Sadio Mane? And he on the bench majority of the time. You understand? And it's all about principle.
True.
You have a man like Salah, yes, Salah does go tap in and whatnot, but Salah don't run back. All who I tell Liverpool fans, I say you have to make a choice. Did they get rid of Salah and sacrifice Salah, get big money, sell him out of the league, let him go Real Madrid or Barcelona, whoever want to take him, and replace him with somebody else because Mane is the man that you work at. What do you mean by that? Mane go, Mane is a dog. I say, you saying about Mane, boy? The man who does run back. Sometimes he play left back, right back, center back.
And then behind Salah is a wing back who can defend in Alexander Arnold.
I
So
read by photo.
I don't want to attack Liverpool on right through.
I want to talk about the photo shoot type of the fashion model guy. He's a special case by himself. I had one in that, and thank God Barca take care of him for me. Bellerin. Thank God for that. Them fellas and them believe because they could cross a ball like similar to Beckham, that gives you the authority to make the side. And that is not the case. Times has changed. You have to learn to attack, you have to learn to defend, and you have to learn to play as a team, as one unit. And right now, they're not so. Mane leaving, destroy that team. I don't know, and everybody could see it. Apart from that, the injuries. They have a lot of injuries. That's the excuse now. And apart from that, the referees not realizing the nonsense they do when no fans was there. That's why they had Liverpool. That's why it is European football showing them, and the standard refereeing in the other leagues and European leagues show us the Premier League we need to do better. Poor decisions. Poor. So they don't have the referee on the team. Other coaches start to talk about it. And if club lose, the pitch ain't get enough water. The grass ain't cut too much. That man have more excuse than a politician. I'm telling you.
And I don't, I understand looking up to a manager, right? But as I was telling somebody the other day, and big up to Martin, Philip, and Sean in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference between Leicester and Liverpool in the last 5 seasons is that Liverpool, they make a Champions League final and they win a League Cup.
Yeah, they win a Champions League. I do anything.
Right,
they win a Champions League.
Win a Champions
and they win the League Cup.
Because Leicester win a FA Cup.
Right. They win the league.
Right? So the only thing Liverpool have on Leicester is that they win a Champions League.
I think so.
But everybody does lift Liverpool up and put them up on a pedestal. Like if they have done so much, man, them only win 1 Premier League, but it is big up Liverpool more than it is big up City. I don't know why you think that is. You, man, have been to the UK many times. You know why when you listen to these pundits, why you think that is treat Liverpool different to everybody else? Always an excuse for Liverpool. They will get stick to other managers, but Pep and Klopp always an excuse for them. Them fellas perfect. Them don't make no mistake.
To me, one of the greatest secrets for Liverpool was when they were competing with Arsenal in the late 80s, early 90s coming up. And that tradition kept because a lot of commentators would have come from Liverpool, Arsenal coming up, righty, and those guys coming up, right? And a lot of it went forward from the commentators coming through, right? Not only saying the commentators, English football players listening, Gerard, this, that,
Carragher.
love to make a hero out of an English player. And one of the teams it comes from is Liverpool, right? Liverpool has a lot of tradition, and I won't criticize them. They're a great team, right? But you said it, over the years, they haven't really performed. One Premier League win. Even that league, they had some issues there when COVID actually stopped the league, and it was rushed back in, and they got it to the end there, and people were saying things. But potential of that team from 2020, it should have carried on for the next couple of years. Last season, they nearly had it, but they wasted a few opportunities and draws and stuff where they actually lost a couple of points. It was the sword's edge for them. This year, Mane, as is being said, as said it already, and is being said all over. I wouldn't consider him like Maradona, but there are some players they actually have a grandeur. They have the nature to actually take a team, hold a team. Russell P. You could carry a team if they're done and inspire them to go on. From the time they started playing beginning of the season, you realize it wasn't the same. Something on the team there. No matter if owners and manager and different players have the arguments, but the team itself, when they got on there was nobody to actually pick them up and pull them. And if a man running slow or heel injured and thing, it was just said there again. Mane would run from attacking position to defending. He was all over the strength, and just having that support there, and it's something that's it is a one player, but it means a lot.
And Mane has been doing well, eh? Mane has been scoring almost every week for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be told Bayern Munich scoring like 5 and 6 and 7 goals a weekend, right? But still,
he's the focal point.
Yeah, he's been make a difference maker for them since he went across.
But
go ahead.
one thing I would say, the only person I see as a leader, if I had to choose out of that starting 11, will be this Colombian guy. This guy will run back. He will defend. He will attack. He will create something out of nothing. Diaz. And the only threat I see for Liverpool. I don't see no other person. That's Fabinho. Fabinho was good. Remember, Fabinho was the greatest after slice bet. When in all the midfield battles, towering. Where is he? Van Dijk, as you rightfully said. Van Dijk.
I wanna throw one more thing in the mix. One more thing in the mix. And tell me if you all see this as well, and if you all think this could be a contributing factor.
Right.
Liverpool has signed well over 60 players since Klopp's arrival. Yet, for the last 4 seasons, barring the inclusion now of Diaz and Firmino, Liverpool has played on. You could pick Liverpool starting 11 for Champions League, for Premier League without guessing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's rare. It has
rotation.
He plays the same 11 consistently. Do you all think that he does just wear out his teams? That playing the same players all the time, over time, eventually you just wear out that team? Do you all think that we seeing a tired Liverpool now?
You see that with Dortmund? Yes. If you go back to the history of Dortmund, when Dortmund was at their peak, you could have guessed Royce, Lewandowski, Götze. You know that is the main three. In the midfield, they will see Godewan and Hummels and whatnot. They pick up injuries, and that could be a contributing factor for real. Let's look at back history of how we have repeated itself, and this is it right now. Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how it goes. Let's see how long. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the media love their darlings, but when you're not winning, when the media turn on you, there's be pressure. So I think Klopp safe. I think I agree with Waz. Klopp is safe for now, right? But if the media turn on them, might be another story.
If our next top six side beat them in the way United beat them, or our next two, I always say our next two, that is it. I feel so.
One of the things that I always say about coaches, it is not easy to fire a coach when you're a big team, because it's not any coach you could pick up. We all know Pochettino would love to come back to the Premier League. So let's see.
He will look good in Liverpool or Newcastle. If Liverpool punch on Newcastle coach.
Yeah. Possible. Well, Darwin Nunes as well. You start. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a successful start. I mean, say you see what's going on with him there.
Nunes will score goals, but the kind of work that Firmino does do, the kind of falling back into defense, the kind of holding up the ball, the kind of assists. Firmino always looking to pass the ball off to Salah, or in this case, Diaz. Nunes ain't doing that. Everybody in that front three going to be selfish. When Salah running down the road as a winger, if he see a shot, even if he see a pass, he taking a shot. When Diaz run down on the left, if he see a shot, even though he might have a better pass than Salah, he taking that shot. And Nunes running down the middle, if he see a shot, none of them ain't getting any ball. And that is going to be a problem for Liverpool. Everybody in that front three going to be selfish. Them looking to score their own goals and pad their own numbers. They ain't studying the team. And that is the difference with Firmino. Firmino was not interested in that. He will quicker pass the ball and shoot.
Yeah.
And normally he would get the return pass because he would make the right runs. So let's see how it goes. Let me see how it goes. Armania say, and if this is the show that I know this is a Liverpool supporter, say club staying until 2024. So it looks like it don't really matter. But
yeah.
I think they will be under pressure if they don't make the top four. If Liverpool don't make the top four this season, they'll be under pressure to keep him to go into next season. Real pressure.
Because only owners care about is their money. Remember that.
Salah like he plays cricket with TKRS. He purging right now. But as this is open, we have an open forum. Yes, we have certain things we're going to discuss. But feel free if you have any questions. Feel free if you have any topics you want to throw in the mix. There's the program you can throw it in the mix. Let me come to you, Tristan. Do you have anything that you observe? Anything going on? Premier League teams that you wanna talk about?
Yeah, I would like to speak about one thing that just hamburger me, boy. Oh gosh, it's hamburging everybody for being the league that has spent the most of time money. The standard of officiating, it need to upgrade. It need to upgrade. For far too long, and this is something that I've seen while watching other leagues just this weekend, and I've been advocate for saying such. VAR, especially in them Spanish league, that Liga, if the referee is unsure, hey, go and see the screen. I don't want to make the decision. You go and see the screen. And I seen that today. No much whole play I saw, just because the VAR referee, he just don't want to make a decision on his own. He say, here what's going on. I'm not sure, but come and see this on the screen. It could be a penalty, it could be a thing. I don't think there's a penalty, come back and take a look. And the English referees, they just going based on what they feel. I think that should be a penalty, penalty. That time it's not a penalty. Look at the game again with Newcastle again. At Newcastle Brighton. When Willock foul the keeper, the man score a own goal. No, Willock get pushed and foul the keeper. But it's the player will push him. So obviously if you push me in the back, I will go through and I'm treading running forward. Within that is only makes sense that I will run into the keeper. And then while you push the man now, you get a ball and you put it in your own goal post. Our own goal. You will say that is not a goal.
One Willock and the goalkeeper was never getting that ball. So it didn't obstruct the play. And two, why you calling the foul on Willock and you ain't calling the foul on the man who fouled Willock?
That is what I'm trying to tell you.
If you calling any foul, call the first foul. Don't call the second one.
The next one is the foul that is for West Ham to equalize for Chelsea. Yes, we know West Ham player, he loved to leave his foot in every challenge because we play against them last season and he did something like that. He fake going now. And they were saying, hey, penalty. And when they went to check, Ramsdale never touched him. But he leave his foot. He loved to leave his foot trailing.
Yeah, but if as a goalkeeper, you dive on the ground in front of men, what happen? If you dive in front of men who looking, they go in for the ball, you go in for the ball, and you dive in front of them, what going to happen?
They had a jump, they will jump, obviously. But so of this myself, so of thing again, don't say poor decision. They need to get it right. And I find they should when got called for that, and you see from next year, all referees will have to go and see the judge. Meaning after the game, just like how you just question the players and the manager, you'll question the referee and ask them. They didn't
Why
like
make
that
the
man for
decision?
that, They didn't like that man for that, But that is why FIFA put him there. He'll make sure that the referee and them not biased. They'll make good decisions. And they have to take accountability for their actions. Because that, let me just suppose Newcastle end up in a drought. That game and they need 3 points to take and then get. That game waiters they could have won against Brighton. Why end up 0-0. That game will cost them 100 million. West Ham, if West Ham go down, that game against Chelsea by 1 point, they will go back to that game that cost them 100 million. You need to get it right. And they can't say he's the best league in the world. Yes, he's the best league where competition is. The small side can be the big side. Any side can beat anybody. That's what we love to see. And they need to fix that. They need to fix that.
Well, was I know you
No.
would feel the very same way.
Yeah, that game, it wasn't Brighton, it was Crystal Palace, and they appealed it, and when they reviewed it, they realized that it was a mistake. But what's that going to do now? You lose 2 points. All right.
And you know what has boggled my mind with VAR? I could appreciate the the referees on the field because the game is going so fast. Sometimes watching the game, you just make bad calls. And then when you see a replay, it's like, wait, plenty times I see a man look like he come in late, and I like, wait, boy, that man, card. And then when you see the replay, you see the man really hit the ball first. And then
Yeah.
the man leg after, and you had to say, well, all right, yeah, you don't. So I could appreciate the referees. I have no sympathy for VAR. How a VAR referee, you know the rules of the game. How you can sit down, watch a replay in slow motion, and still
make
make
a
a bad
bad call.
decision. What is going
And
on?
get paid for that. I find they should fine you. You shouldn't get
Not
no
just
money
get
for
paid,
that.
he going and get next game.
Yeah.
He going and referee our next game. That's
No,
couple people,
you have to do
couple
it like what they do the referee for the game with Crystal Palace and Newcastle. He get demoted.
Yeah,
Less
go in
money.
the championship, go in the second
No, it's a
division.
championship, League One.
Yeah, for them
less
kind of
money.
decisions.
Them kind of thing. I'm telling you, Mike Dean. They're supposed to do that with Mike Dean. Mike Dean's supposed to retire. He's not supposed to be back there. I don't like that man at all, God forgive him, man. But he's the worst referee in the world, why? Well, he's one of the worst.
You know, we said on this program a couple Sundays ago that last World Cup they had no English referees, and the way the English going right now, this World
It
Cup
will
they might not know English referees again because clearly something amiss. Sean was asking what effect we think the World Cup is going to have on the clubs, on the coaches, on the players. I will start off and then I'll leave the floor open for you guys. For me, we're going to see the difference in this World Cup, not before the World Cup. Teams are going to be looking for points. None of the big stars ain't going and get rested. If you feel, oh, because I'm my World Cup, no. You go in and play every game until it's time for you to go to the World Cup. You see, if teams like England and some of these other teams,
France,
teams like Liverpool, City, even Manchester United, maybe Arsenal,
we got to deal with the Brazilians. If you realize, they leave all the Gabriel
right?
So they ain't going nowhere.
So, but those teams I called before, who are going to have a lot of international players playing in the World Cup, who may go deep in the World Cup. How are these guys going to? Because there's no rest. People just feel, you know how much it is difficult to you psychologically to go to a tournament.
Yeah.
We'll say if you win, right? And then the partying if you do win. I think the big teams are going to have a challenge. Chelsea, I didn't call them. Chelsea as well. They're going to have a challenge the second half of the season. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the big players going to suffer from fatigue. And you see the teams like Newcastle, you see Crystal Palace, you see Wolves, them fellas who team fresh, them fellas saying non cock up watching TV all December. And was just watching World Cup. Those teams going to give big teams trouble. Man, like them fellas, these teams going to give, and I'd say Arsenal too, because according to Tristan, a lot of Arsenal players not going to the World Cup. So the teams that don't have a lot of players going to the World Cup are the teams that are going to benefit. And I think next, after the World Cup, you see all of these wins and things, City getting and Arsenal, everybody piling up wins. You see next season, the wins ain't gonna be so easy to come by. Gonna be real.
But in a case of Arsenal,
Maybe next season, after the World Cup.
well,
Next year,
January,
yeah.
next half. But in case of Arsenal, Brazil coach management held everybody came in, and Edu spoke to them. Edu spoke with them in the case of Gabriel, all the Gabriels now, Martinelli, Jesus, and Magalis. All of them, they asked them to rest them. Because what they say is that Magalis will be going to the World Cup. Jesus is going to the World Cup. Martinelli is going to the World Cup. So they asked them to choose a side. Choose the players that you would know that will be fifth choice. Right? To go. Like, for example, they say they wasn't sure about Firmino and they wasn't sure with Anthony as to the role and function. And the centre back, Bremer, and this next Brazilian one. So, in the case of that, I was real grateful that you give my players a rest between now and then. They could train together, I think. But even when they're training, seen from myself footage, is like them fellas just go hard at you, boy. Just go hard, they don't hold back.
Yeah, well, how you train is how you play, you know.
Facts.
If
And
you
I'm
train
telling you,
soft, you ain't gonna suddenly flip a switch and play hard on the weekend. Which is why we just have training injuries. Unfortunately. Yeah. But what effect you think the World Cup going to have on the league, Premier League specifically?
Going to have a lot of, well, I won't say a lot, but you're going to have injuries coming out of that. And you said it, the second half of the league, second half of the season, you're going to have a lot of injuries to deal with. Newcastle might have a few players going in as well there. Shaw, Nick Pope might get a call up there. We were hoping if Callum Wilson wasn't injured, he might have gotten a call up as well too, but he injured right now.
He didn't get call up? He injured?
Callum Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he injured.
But whatever injured? Whatever injured? He could be back, man. He could be back. Be back.
But so we too might have a few there. A few of the Brazilians there. I don't think they'll make the team, but Bruno Guimaraes. He
get called up for Brazil?
I'm not sure. I have to check it. But okay. I know he's played on the bench.
I didn't hear his name, but okay.
I didn't check the Brazilian squad, right? But he is one they've actually put on the bench a few times, so he's going on. Right now, he's a super player for Newcastle. He's injured as well. St. Maximin was injured for the last 2 games, and Callum Wilson. So we've been playing with a B-side already. Newcastle doesn't have, speaking about Newcastle, we don't have the depth of squad as yet that we would like. So the injuries we actually have at the beginning of the season, we're going to see problems down the road as well. But the larger teams that have international players for the World Cup, you're going to have men who burn out after that. Right, after that tournament, because not only that too, you could condition that stadium is a hot country, right? And it's going to be a long Christmas season there, right? So I hope some of these games that they actually missing now, they actually put it later on to the end of the season there, right? Because these guys and them, they're going to have it hard. Even though I say we want to watch a good World Cup as well, see teams and them players fresh and fit and stuff, right? These guys coming straight off a league football to go onto a team. So it's it will be interesting to see. But I expect a few injuries on the and a few players not being fully fit to the second half of that season. Yeah.
Yeah, injuries will play a part, especially to all them games. Plus, as you rightfully say, President in the earlier, the psychological effects it will have. Because we see how both Saka, Rashford, Sancho, they were when it is they lost the Euros and how the country turned on them, right? And let me just say we have a case like that again, God forbid. I want to see how they can survive. That'll be
So
difficult.
true.
Because look at Salah. Salah haven't recovered since AFCON,
Yeah.
according to
Since
you.
AFCON, Salah hasn't recovered. I for one thought when he got his contract, we would have seen some change in his performance, but we haven't seen any change. It
Have you
just
seen a change?
continues downwards.
Have you seen a change in Aubameyang since he signed the 350k when he was at Arsenal?
Well, I haven't been watching a lot of Barcelona games, but to be honest, I remember Aubameyang from Dortmund, and
Right.
the numbers that Aubameyang was putting up at Dortmund, he has never put up since he left.
That is so true.
So I'll have to agree with you. Since he left
Yeah.
Dortmund, he hasn't been putting up the kind of numbers that he should.
And it's proven that we are the toughest league to deal with in terms of.
Of course.
Remember Lacazette? Remember Lacazette? Watch Lacazette number now in the French league.
Yeah.
Seven goals, 8 games, 2 assists. I'm telling you, things different. Things different.
Yeah. That is a fact. The Premier League, and one of the things, my father always says he likes the fact that the Premier League does attract not just the best players but the best coaches.
Yes.
So you find that it is not just tough because of the physicality and the speed of the league. It is also tough because you're dealing with men who intelligent. They're coming out there with a system to beat you. So technically as well I mean, let's be real. We have Pep,
Ten Hag.
you have Klopp, you have Ten Hag, you have Conte. Who else wins stuff outside?
Outside. Brighton new coach they're gonna get to replace the current one. He's a champion. He's a great coach.
Right. Then we had to talk about men like Arteta, who has been given time. Now he's seeing the benefits. Right. At first, people
Bruno
might
Lage.
I know people may have been questioning him, but now you're seeing the system take root in a young team. You had to say, well, all right, you gotta get kudos to Arteta, and there's just the coaches in the Premier League are clearly very good, and they're only going to be getting better because clubs have more and more money to spend. As I say, it's just a matter of time. I think Pochettino is going to be back in the Premier League at some point. So what else did I wanted to do? I know you wanted to talk about VR as well. Did I have anything else that you wanted to talk about concerning
Manchester United? You guys had some doubts with Ten Hag. He had some poor reviews in the first game or two there.
The British media, boy. Not me, and not most of the fan base. Most of the fan base understood Ten Hag needed time. But the British media, and let me tell you something, Ten Hag is on a short rope.
Yeah.
And the reason he's on a short leash is because he mentioned 2 English starters, Shaw and Harry Maguire. So when he's winning, the English media
they don't come at him.
They will be there looking like they begin him up. But the minute he starts to underperform, or the team, they're going to come at him, because one thing, the English are very biased with their players. I'm telling you right now, Martinez and Malacia is going to keep those two guys on the bench.
Agreed. But
That is the
listen,
reality of the Premier League right now in Manchester
don't
United.
be surprised if you hear it have a bust up and you see the English players back on the field because they're wicked like that. They're wicked like that.
You know, I watch men. Nothing would surprise me with them
Yeah.
fellas. The
Well, now it's
biasness of
time
the English
for
media is renowned.
not only the media but the FA. They
Well,
want to
Of
see the
course,
player stretching and sweating.
Maguire is the England captain. Is the England captain after Harry Kane, or no?
I always tell people if it wasn't for that situation in Greece where he was charged, Maguire would have had the armband already. Their plan was already to give Maguire, he was going to be the next captain. But that situation in Greece is why they don't announce publicly that he's the vice captain of the team. But everybody who does follow English football know that Harry Maguire is the vice captain of the national team.
Of course.
Chad, President, how good you feel about Harry Maguire? How you feel about
I
I
don't
love him.
have as much disdain for Harry Maguire as a lot of United supporters have. I really don't.
I honestly think if he goes sorry for cutting across, if he goes to the next team, he'll perform, huh?
Of course. Watch out how he was
Harry
performing for
Maguire,
Leicester.
Harry Maguire was bought into Manchester United that was purely a counter-attacking team. We used to defend deeper, a little closer to the goal, and he was excellent in that team. If you watch how England plays, it's not just the fact that he has a lot of quality around him on England, but also the fact that England really they don't press high up the pitch, right? And therefore they play very defensive, and that helps Harry Maguire. You see, when a team presses high up the pitch, your defenders need to be on it because they need to react when that ball. You're going to lose the ball. No matter how much possession you have, no team has 100% possession. You will lose the ball, and somebody will pass the ball through or pass the ball over the top. You cannot teach height. Fortunately for Harry, he's tall, and you cannot teach speed. And the problem with Harry is like he's our old Bedford, right? He takes long to turn, long to get going, and
Long to pass.
once you play in a high line, people are going to find out Harry because you cannot play Harry Maguire with a high line if the next person next to him is not a very fast defender because he is going to get beat. So Manchester United style of play has evolved from when Harry came to the club under Ole to how the new manager and even the former manager in terms of Ralph wanted to play. So because the team wants to play a high line, that is not conducive to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is not going to fit into that. So everybody wants to blame Harry like he just suddenly turned trash. No, the system at the club has changed. He doesn't fit the system, but it is not easy to get rid of an 80 million pound defender. You don't just buy a man for 80 million pound. The first contract ain't even finished yet, and you just sell him like that. It don't work like that in football. So
We can tell you.
I expect Harry to make the World Cup. The last two tournaments Harry went to, he was on the
He
team at
performed great.
tournament, you know.
He performed great. That was it. I loved him.
Yeah,
Because-
the Euros, he was the team of the tournament. The World Cup, he was the team of the tournament. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he make the team of the tournament again and still come back to Manchester United and be on the bench. Because the system
That's
is
why
all about
Chelsea
the
wants
system.
him. That's why Chelsea wants him. Chelsea want that low block.
Because he
Well,
could
of course.
play in that system.
He would have performed good in that system.
Sean asking for us to predict our final four for the World Cup. Sean, we're going to be having some World Cup content. When the Premier League shut down, every Sunday, we're going to be discussing World Cup stuff. So when we get a little closer to that time, we'll talk
can
about
do
it.
that.
I'm really not full. I'm not up to date with my international football as it is right now. I ain't really paying attention to it yet. The World Cup fever ain't bite me yet.
And trust me, and France have a lot of politics to make that score right now because a lot of men injured. Lot of politics. Mbappe
I,
had to choose
I,
the
my the only prediction I will make right now is that this is an open race for me. I don't know for how much people watch NBA basketball, but at the
Mhm.
beginning of last season, there was a perception that there was a lot of parity in the NBA, and even a lot of the pundits weren't prepared to call who was going to win. They were listing like 4 or 5 teams, not one
Yeah.
or two, but 4 or 5. Like any of these teams could win. A lot of people, very few people, called Golden State at the beginning of last season, right? And to me, I think this World Cup, one, because of where it is located. Normally, European teams, except for when Germany went to South America and beat
And
them,
one.
European teams normally don't win when it's in South America. And South American teams struggle to win when it's on the continent. It is
But
now somewhere else being played at a totally
it's different
strange time of the
altitude.
season.
Yes.
Then also too, we have African teams that have real quality in them. So I think this World Cup is going to be different. I'm expecting to see some big upsets. I mean, it had a big upset before the World Cup. The fact that Italy is not in the World Cup to me is an unbelievable thing. Italian team that win Euros, not in the World Cup. I still try to wrap my mind around that. So I think this World Cup is going to be exciting because of everybody's going to be focused on Ronaldo and Messi. And the truth be told, I do
They pass
expect
the
the
time.
guys to have big World Cups. I think a lot of these smaller guys, look out for men like Sadio Mane to have a big World Cup.
Cameroon, of
You
course.
understand? Look out for these big
Ghana.
guys. People not
Ghana.
paying
Because Ghana.
attention to, look out for them.
Ghana. Because Ghana just signed Tariq Lamptey from Brighton. He pledged his allegiance to them. Huh? So defensively, they look solid. Midfield wise, they have Thomas Partey if he could keep fit. And forward, they have Abu Bakar and somebody else. So yeah, let
Waz,
me
we
see.
have a question in the comments for you. Martin Philip wants to know, where do you think your team will place in this year's EPL?
Well, every year I used to be worrying about relegation and battling relegation. I think
Well, I know you ain't worried about that this season.
No, you have a daddy.
Newcastle, the money we have to spend, we just can't go out and spend it, right? And we need depth of squad. We're building a team, but we've already been plagued with numerous injuries in the first 6 games, right? I think we can make the top 10 if we continue playing. And we need to actually
Top
build
10,
a
you're being
squad.
conservative, man. Waz, man. I think
I
we're
say
going to
top
make that
six.
top 10 with our squad.
I said top 6.
I
Right?
saying 8 or
I'm hoping
6.
fit, right? But once again, Callum Wilson was the top striker. Now we have Isak came in here. He showed his potential, right? If he could settle on, we have a good chance. But we need some goal poachers and some scorers, right? Otherwise,
Pope is a good goalkeeper too. I think overall, even though the improvement is incremental, Newcastle as a team has been
Yeah.
improving in every aspect: defense,
well,
midfield, and forward.
that team we need about the first 10 games to gel, all right? But my concern is injuries because I'm already seeing injuries piling up at an early stage. And if we could get some more players at over the winter break, the season there in January, that will do us good. We could go on for top 6 or top 8, we could push. But
In
injuries is
addition
a
to,
biggest.
in addition to what you're saying, I would like to add, you have players on your team that's motivated to try to make the World Cup squad. So that alone is a weapon. You see when a man make up his mind, I want to do this, and it's the same thing going on with Saint Maximum. Saint Maximum say, I want to make France squad.
Yeah.
And so say so done. You see how we destroyed Manchester City? They didn't have a formula for him. He run.
If you all had finishers, Ole would have beat City. Said Maximan put a ball on a dime so much times in the box, and men just wasn't there to finish.
But watching Isak come in there, hoping hitting. So St. Maximin is one. Bruno Guimaraes, right? He's the next one that running hard for that Brazilian team. And if he doesn't make this World Cup, on the reserve squad or the bench, he will make the next one. He's that good. Right? I see that guy who on the field there and some stuff.
Paqueta ain't making sense going to this World Cup because he have himself start for West Ham. No play no games per se. He ain't settling yet. He ain't climatized. The smartest thing he should have done is remain in Lyon, make that World Cup squad and leave in January. That would have been the brightest thing for him to do. Because after you perform in the World Cup, you'll have plenty more suitors.
Yeah.
One of the people who helped this status is Anthony. Because when you're playing in any big club, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Liverpool, once you play in a big club, you know your name up there being called in the lights, you're more likely to make your national team than not.
Of course. So right now between here and Firmino.
Yeah, so
Anthony
definitely do himself. But then I hear Neymar does really rate him too. Neymar does rate Anthony a lot. I don't know what the coach thought is on Anthony, but I know Neymar does really big him up a lot.
Neymar will be influential in choose that squad.
And that's why I mentioned it.
Is the last World Cup, to say.
And next thing with Newcastle, another cut across here, right? With Newcastle, all right, amongst the fan base, Newcastle fan base, and going back and talking to friends, Geordies up in Newcastle and stuff. Going back to that advice you and some of the decisions being made that Newcastle fans have seen over the last couple of things. It's not to say we Newcastle supporters and we expecting this and that and stuff. We're accustomed losing, right? In the past, we have a good team, a competitive team. We don't mind if we lose, but
you don't mind losing, but you don't like it when you feel like the game was stolen from you. There's a big difference from losing when you feel like the game is stolen from you.
Yeah, and you watch. I mean, it's the points that we could have had. So what we end up with.
Right? You're right.
That second shot by Isaac that went in right? They said, it was offside. That was tight. It looked on the line. Maybe it was a fraction offside, but I think the week before, one like that was given. So, there were some concerns. You say, well, how it going against? So
I think, if I'm not mistaken, yes, last week, Monday, the Premier League had a meeting concerning the referee, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the season before, when for the first month of the league, all kind of dotishness was a handball. Everything was a handball, right? The ball passed to close save and it touched your fingernail, it was a handball, right? It touched the signage on your sleeve, it was a handball. And then they changed course during the season. So I am hoping that people have been talking about the referee. The referees came together, they had a meeting. They said, watch, we had some bad decisions. So I am hoping from when the football starts back that the referee decisions improve.
And they bring back Howard Webb.
and Howard don't need to be on the pitch. Howard could be the VAR referee for most of the games.
They bring him in so that he could consult with them. The VAR officials and the referee officials.
Yeah, because
he'll be in charge of them now.
I don't understand. I cannot figure out how you could be a trained referee watching stuff in slow-mo and making mistakes. So let's hope for the game, right? For the institution of the game that things improve. Gentlemen, thank you very much, Waz. Thank you very much, Tristan, being part of the EPL Rewind. People remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember to tune in every Sunday as we talk about everything EPL. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday, people.
Yeah, man.
Take care.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.